Can job offers be withdrawn? The answer is
Yes.
watch this video till the end so you get 3 things you must do before, during, and after an offer is extended so it doesn't get withdrawn from you. If you want to find and nurture your ideal occupation or business niche, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you know whenever a new video comes out. Also, remember to smash that like button below. So first things first, why can employers just withdraw your offers? Well, it turns out, according to the law in most states, they can do so even if they don't have a good reason for it.
What?
As long as they're not quote unquote discriminating against age, gender, religion, or any of the other things, you don't have a basis to basically sue them or do anything else. And even then, they can usually come up with ways to get off the hook. And we'll talk later about why it's best not to go the legal way in most cases. Wait, so you're telling me that they can just withdraw my offer after extending it, even if I accepted it?
Yes.
What if I already signed it? Well, in most cases, if you haven't even accepted it or signed the offer, yes, there is no issue for them to just withdraw the offer and that's it. You're screwed.
And I was so happy when I got that offer.
In many cases, even after you've signed a contract, they can still potentially take it out and withdraw the offer from you. So you must be very careful with what you do in your communications or what you do with your life if you decide to move or leave another job before you actually do that. Now, while it's true that they can withdraw your offer, think about it from the perspective of the employer or recruiter. They do not want to do that. They've spent a lot of resources recruiting candidates, sourcing them, screening them, interviewing them, and then finally extending an offer. So actually withdrawing the offer is counterproductive for them.
Just think of all the time and effort that went into screening you, recruiting you, testing you, taking you to an interview, and they have to throw it all on the trash.
So in that case, why will they actually go about doing so? Well, there are multiple reasons, but some of them they have to do with the candidates. The ones that you can actually focus on and work on have to do with being honest in your applications, not having things come out in the background check that are gonna go against you. And that actually goes into our first tip. Make sure that while you are interviewing or before you get extended the offer, and even after you get extended the offer, you need to behave professionally. That means that you need to be able to engage with the recruiters or with whoever's in the company that's talking to you or messaging you. You need to get back to them in a reasonable time frame. Let's say between 24 hours or something like that. If they require something of you, you provide it, and you are engaged and interested in the process. You're not someone who's gonna ghost them or go in and say something that's inappropriate or do something else that's gonna cause them to wonder if their decision to extend the offer was the right thing. Or even before they even extend the offer, right? So, but since you're here, you probably were extended an offer and you're worrying whether or not that could happen to you. So another reason why that could happen is if you basically fabricated some stuff that you put on your resume or you embellished it way too much.
Not that kind of forging, Dumbo. And yeah, that's too embellished.
Or you said you were doing something that you didn't have, or you said you had a degree you didn't have, or you lived somewhere where you didn't live. Another potential reason here might be that you cannot legally work there. Maybe there is something barring you from doing so. Maybe you are someone who has an non-compete agreement with a different company that's a competitor and you cannot actually do that. Or maybe you simply had issues with the law and won't be able to actually be in the offices where you need to produce the work by the time of your start date. These are some of the common things that might make it so that you get an offer withdrawn. Okay, so you're telling me that you actually have all of that under control. You didn't enforce anything, and your background check should be a very good one. You are also very professional in your communications with the company, and still you're somewhat scared. Well, I will wonder, why are you scared that an offer might be withdrawn? Another possibility, if it has nothing to do with you as a candidate, based on the things that we've just mentioned, is that the company itself is in trouble or something happened within it that made it so that the position that you were going to have is no longer available, or they picked someone else for another reason, maybe a political reason, like maybe the son of the owner or the cousin or someone else came in, especially if it's in a government position where some less than stellar things can potentially happen. All those things can occur, and then you don't have actual control over that. Now, this will obviously suck if this happens after you've moved or after you've quit your current job. That's why it's important that during the process, even after you've accepted an offer or not, try to wait as long as you can before quitting your job, before you actually have something very tangible, very strong. If you're getting like a sign on bonus, like have the money in, that kind of thing, right? Or you're starting very close to the date, and some other things that can potentially help you see that the offer is considerably more concrete. That's going to happen. If you're starting a couple of months from now, maybe quitting is not the best option, right? Like right away. Maybe you want to quit closer to the date in which you're actually starting your new job, so you don't find yourself in such a position. Also, if you are afraid that an offer might be withdrawn, then that's the thing. Most people, when they get an offer, they stop applying, or when they're in the process of interviewing with a few companies, they stop applying to different ones. Don't do that. That's a mistake. You need to keep applying so that you always have backup options in the case that an offer is withdrawn, which, as we mentioned, sometimes doesn't have anything to do with you, the applicant. Okay, so I know what some of you are thinking. Okay, Emil, but I mean, like, I did everything right. Like, I didn't force anything. Are you sure? I'm still afraid that my offer might be withdrawn, or an offer was withdrawn already, which is worse. What do I do now? like, I already quit my job. I just want to go and sue the crap out of them and get my money back. And I know many people potentially watching this think that way, but think about it for a second. Many people go out there and say, oh, what legal action can I take in order to get some money back because they did this to me and they need to pay? Look, come on, like, first,
This is not a revenge mafia thriller kind of movie thing where you can just go in, take your shot, and get all that you lost back.
most of the time they have usually a basis on the law, and even if they potentially don't, or maybe you feel like you were discriminated, if it's something that's very important for you, yeah, for sure, you can go in and potentially pursue legal action if you want. But, and this is a big one, for most people, for the majority of people in this situation, don't do that. You're much better off, instead of spending your time, spending your money and your energy trying to pursue this vendetta, instead put all that focus into applying to other positions and use what you learned from this experience. For example, if you were afraid that they might withdraw the offer, why were you afraid in the first place? Did you feel like there was something that will not come right on your background check? Like, or something else? Like, sometimes these are things that you can come in and say has extenuating circumstances, so that it doesn't come off in the background check and then they're wondering, oh, what is this? We didn't know this, right? So that's something that you could mention or put somewhere in your application so that it doesn't happen this way. For example, maybe you are applying to a position that you know they shouldn't be picking you for whatever reason, and your background, there's something that they shouldn't be allowing you to go in it, and you know that you don't really you shouldn't really be there. If that's the case, that's fine. You shouldn't go into it thinking that, oh, they're not gonna find out, oh, I'm just gonna get it. No, you must go in straight thinking, okay, if they ask about this, what is going to be my answer? Comment below if this makes sense so far. All right, so we already spoke about why some companies just simply withdraw job offers after extending them. We talked about what you should do during or before you even get the contract in terms of being professional and not making up stuff or forging things, so that you can pass the background checks and that you check that you actually can legally and practically be in the company and work when you're supposed to in the future. That was tip number one. We covered part number two, which was during, right? Like, make sure that you keep applying to other positions. Don't quit too early from your previous job before you have something solid, before you sign a written agreement, before many other steps have taken place and you are closer to your start date, so that you can actually just transition more easily. And simply, the more time you have between your start date and when you quit, the more time you give for any weird thing to happen and potentially screw you over. And part number three, which we already talked about, was the part about, okay, if it happens to me, it's very similar to part two. Just continue applying and don't go into some crazy vendetta that's probably not going to help you as much as simply getting an actual good, solid job for you. And when you go through it, simply do it with a mindset of, okay, if there's something in my application that's less than stellar, what's the real answer to that? How can I not convince others, but rather like tell the story, my story, from a point of view in which it's human and people see like, okay, that makes sense, or oh, like when you take ownership of the mistakes you've made in the past or of things that are less than stellar, instead of hiding them, people respect you for that. And I hope you leave this video with that. So remember to smash that like button and subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you know whenever a new video comes out. Also, if you like this, share it with your friends and comment below with anything that you got from it.